Hi, my name is Doug Craig, songwriter, music producer, and content creator. This is the first episode of Stories from the Studio. And what better way for me to start than to start with a song that has meant so much to me. It's called
Technicolor.
Yeah, that song. So I'm going to help you understand some things about Technicolor. First of all, when you write a song, it's like giving birth to a baby. And that's a very personal thing. If people say that your song sucks, that's the equivalent of saying, oh, that's an ugly baby. But when people say, man, that's hot, that means my song or my baby is well received. But it was already well conceived to me. I loved every song I've ever created. But this one turned into a monster in many ways. So I want to dispel a lot of garbage that's been put out there about my involvement with Technicolor and how it was actually created. Let me explain it like this. I had a dream. I woke up. I wrote the lyrics. I had the beat in my head. I had the bass line in my head. I had the whole shebangum right here. All of it. However, I will give credit where credit is due. Though I was giving birth to a song, I had one heck of an OBGYN. His name is producer, godfather of techno, Juan Atkins. Yes, that dude. So it's weird because for so many years, I've heard people say things like, well, nah, Doug didn't do that record. There is even one mediocre techno artist, and I call him mediocre because I'm gonna be honest with you. I was pissed when I realized he was going around saying he did Technicolor. Really? Really? And you probably know who you are, but I'm gonna leave it alone because it'll seem like I'm mad. But anyway, Technicolor was an emotional thing for me because in my heart of hearts, I really wanted to be president of a record company. That's where I was headed. And I thank God that I stuck with it and things worked out, right? But during the creative years of Technicolor, some things happened. And I'm gonna break that down for you. After I created the song Idea, I called up my friend Juan. I said, hey Juan, I've got a song idea. Can I swing by the studio? He was like, sure man, come by about 7. So as I had done so many times prior, because he would allow me to come into his studio and just record my ideas, he never charged me. He was super cool about it. And Juan spent most of his time upstairs while I was in the basement doing the music. And one particular evening, Juan came down the steps, right? And you know how the railing is here and the ceiling for the basement is here. Juan stuck his head down in that little corner. He said, hey man, that song's kind of hot. And then he went right back upstairs. And I was like, oh man, Juan likes it. So I continued. And, you know, I knew my way around Juan's studio, so I recorded the vocals. Well, Juan came downstairs about another hour later. And he said, that's hot. But vocally, you sound like some mug from Detroit. And you need to sound like some guy from a foreign land. You just need to sound like you're from overseas. And I was like, really? What's wrong with the song? What's wrong with it? And he was like, I just think you need to redo it. Now, for laughs and giggles, I'm gonna try to imitate what I did. When I first cut the vocals with Technicolor, I was like, it's Technicolor, Technicolor. No, it wasn't even that cool. I didn't even have a rattle in it. It was like, it's Technicolor, Technicolor. Yeah, it's Technicolor, Dang, I keep putting that rattle in it. But you get what I'm saying. And Juan was like, nah, man, you gotta do something. So what I did was, I went home, and as I was driving, I was like, I'm gonna try different accents, people of other cultures and other countries from around the world. So the first victim of my experiment was my mother. I walked in the door, I said, hello, mother, how are you this evening? And she was like, Douglas, what are you doing? I said, mother, what do you think of my accent? And she says, yeah, right. And so I went through the night, I would watch the news, and I would repeat what they would say. 4 individuals were held up at gunpoint in a carjacking on the east side of Detroit. And I was just playing with it. And that next morning I saw my dad, and I walked down. Hello, Father, how are you this morning? Well, what is your problem? I said, Father, what is bothering you? So my father was like, are you smoking something? Because all that jazz you putting down ain't making no sense. And I said, Father, I am in the process of creating a texture to my voice so that when I go into the studio this evening, I can deliver a most impressive foreign sounding vocal performance. He was like, man, boy, you should have gone to school. My dad was a trip. So anyway, that's a whole nother movie. But anyway, so I went throughout that afternoon, I called Juan. I said, hey man, can I come back to the studio tonight? Because I think I've come up with the voice that we were trying to get. And he says, okay, cool. So let me say this about Juan. And I don't even think he realized what he was doing. I mean, he knew how to control everything, the computers and stuff, and the keyboards and sequencers and all that stuff. But Juan was actually producing. A producer will take an artist and pull the best out of them. And that's what Juan did. When he told me I just sound like some regular mug from Detroit and I had to sound foreign, I did that. I worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. So when I got to the studio, Juan says, all right, let's go ahead and record the vocals. So now I put the headphones on. I'm all excited. And he says, all right, let's go. And I said, it's Technicolor, Technicolor, Technicolor. Yeah, it's Technicolor. He's like, that's too friendly, Doug. That's too friendly. And I was like, oh, okay. It's Technicolor, Technicolor, Technicolor. He's like, that ain't it, Doug. Come down on the note a little bit. Go down a little lower. I said, oh, okay. It's Technicolor, Technicolor, Technicolor. He's like, even lower. Just go down. I said, it's Technicolor, Technicolor. He said, Doug, way down. Just bite into that note. And I was like, okay. It's Technicolor, Technicolor, Technicolor. Oh my God. What I heard in his headphones, I didn't know who that was. Juan and I looked at each other. He was like, that's it, man. That's it. So that's what a producer does. Juan did that. Now, I gave birth to that joker. I gave birth to the lyrics, to the music, and Juan put that shine on it. He was my OBGYN. And I challenge you to ask any mother, would you allow someone else to take credit for going through the labor and giving birth to this child? No. But you will credit the OBGYN for assisting you. And Juan did that. So long story short, Juan and I started off as friends when we were doing this DJ group. We called it Deep Space, or they called it Deep Space. My boy Mark May and I, who we're brothers to this day, we were doing the lighting. And some of you who are from Detroit may have seen some of our parties. And we set up the lights. And Derek May and Juan Atkins, they were doing the music. And the third time we gigged with them. Juan brought his TR-808, Roland TR-808. I'll never forget it. I was like, dude, what's up with that drum machine, man? And he was like, yeah, this is it, So he and I began talking about musicianship. I told him, I said, yeah, man, I'm a music major at Cass Tech. And, I mean, oh, no, I was a music major at Cass Tech because it was after high school. I told him that I had gotten, college scholarship offers and things like that on my music, but I wanted to do other things, which is a whole nother movie. But anyway, he and I became real tight. Afternoons, nighttime, we'd be working on stuff. And so I get personally pissed when the story is wrong. And I'm going to admit, Juan Atkins and I, the business of Technicolor, hands down, horrible. That's like taking your child and taking them to an old skank child care center, and your kids come out all dirty and everything. You ain't having that. So that's what I felt. I was sensitive to what was going on with the business of Technicolor. I got pissed. And the only thing is, I had a job at Capitol Records, and I was on my line of doing the business of music. So I was kind of like, I'm not trying to do all of that music stuff. But I had record offers from different companies, and one in particular was kind of funny because the guy really wanted me to sign. And I'll even say this was, no, I'll leave it alone. Yeah, it was SBK Records, I'm sure of it. And so anyway, SBK offered me a pretty decent deal, and I turned it down. And what was so tripped out is the people who got the deal that I passed on called me a couple weeks afterwards, I think it was. And I got the call. And the guy says, hi, Mike, is this Doug Craig? I said, yes, it is. He says, hi, hey, I just want to thank you. Our group, we want to thank you because we're now, getting ready to do a recording deal. And we understand that you had kind of an offer. And I said, yeah. I said, well, what do you guys call your group? They said Technotronic. I don't know if you know that song, Pump Up the Jam, Pump It Up. That one. So anyway, that one. So life went on. I had my jobs. I went from Capitol Records to Sony, and my trajectory was like this. But the business of Technicolor sucked. It hurt me to my heart. I was getting calls, people telling me that there was this guy out there saying he did Technicolor and he did his thing. So it really hurt. It's like another mother saying that they gave birth to your child. That hurt. But I'm proud and happy to say that Juan Atkins and I, to God be the glory, we are like this now. We started off as friends, then we went to foes, and now we are bros. As a matter of fact, hint or early information on this, Juan and I are going to do a podcast, and it's going to be called Friends to Foes to Bros. And it's going to, undergirthing it, it's going to tell the Technicolor story and all of that, but it's going to talk about forgiveness. And I got to tell you, I was pissed at Juan. But when I realized that together, he and I can take the project to another level, because those who know what happened to Technicolor, on the real, I like big, Juan and I had to come together so that we could like big bucks, and we cannot lie, okay? So anyway, to God be the glory. Friends to foes to bros. Through it all, we are good. Juan has come to my studio several times, and because of his crazy schedule, we have yet to kind of connect to do the podcast, but it's coming. But I just wanted to clear that up so you know that how Juan as a producer pulled that Technicolor. He pulled that out of me. I didn't even know it was there. Shoot, it helped me with the ladies because I was like, it was happening. Anyway, no, just joking. So that's it, y'all. Episode 1, Stories from the Studio. I'm Doug Craig, songwriter, song producer, and content creator. See ya.